Hello, good evening, or at least it's evening for me. I'm recording at night. I know when you're watching this, it might be morning, it might be in the middle of the day, but good evening from me right now. So today we're gonna talk about this thing right here, the iPhone, and how to get way better footage with your iPhone. Mobile filmmaking has grown a lot over the years, and the iPhone has been at the center of that growth. Nowadays, it's almost necessary for you to know how to shoot video with your phone. Pretty much everybody has a smartphone, and pretty much everyone has to shoot a video at some point in their lives, whether it's at a birthday party, when you're with your friends, or because you want to shoot something and put it on your Instagram, or shoot a little ad for YouTube or a vlog. You're gonna need to do it at some point, and the phone is a tool that pretty much everyone has. So I thought I'd give you a couple of tips of how to get the best quality video you can out of this tool right here. So my first tip is to shoot in 4K 60 frames per second. On the iPhone, you can do this in your settings where you can change it to shooting in 4K and shooting in 60 frames per second. Now, in the world of film, it's pretty well known that you're supposed to shoot at 24 frames per second for most scenes. And that's great filmmaking advice, but not the best advice when it comes to shooting videos on the go. And that's what I'm guessing you're doing with your iPhone. Shooting in 60 frames per second is gonna give you a bit more of a smooth and realistic type of look when you're shooting with the iPhone. And it's gonna up your quality quite a bit and give you a lot more flexibility. 60 frames per second is just enough to where if you wanted to slow it down a little bit, you could do that too if you threw it in the editing room, and it doesn't take that much work for you to do that. Now, as a disclaimer, you should only do this if you're shooting in a lot of light, because at 60 frames per second, your camera might struggle a little bit to get that image, and there might be a lot of grain in there. So if you're in a dark area, you might want to go down to 24 or a 30 or something like that, so you can get a cleaner image. But if you're shooting in direct sunlight or where you have a lot of light available to you, 60 frames per second will really up your quality all the way. The next tip I have is to clean your lens off before you start shooting. I have seen it so many times where people will be like, why does my image look so terrible? I need a new phone. And I'm like, you don't need to buy a whole new phone. You just need to take a cloth and wipe off your lens really quickly. Having a dirty lens will really shoot the quality down for your video. You have to clean your lens, and don't just take your hand and do this. That's even worse. That's terrible. Don't get fingerprints on it and stuff. Have a microfiber wiper that is specifically for wiping your lens, and just carry it around, clean your lens off real quick whenever you need to. And it's really gonna help you to up your quality, and it'll stop you from saying you need an entire new phone when all you had to do was just clean your lens really quickly. My next tip is to lock your exposure. So locking your exposure is a feature that you have in the iPhone where when you tap and hold on a specific point on the camera, it will make sure that the lighting will stay the same. I think we've all experienced where you're shooting with the iPhone and the lighting will change a bit, or it'll start changing things where the sky will get brighter or the person's face will get darker, and you're like, why does it keep doing that? Well, it's because you have to lock your exposure, and once you do that, it'll stay the same. And this is really important if you're shooting like a vlog, or if you're shooting a time lapse, or if you're just pointing at something for quite a while. You're gonna wanna lock it on, or else it's gonna be shifting all the time and you're gonna mess up that shot a lot. And that's happened to me, and it's really frustrating. So make sure you lock your exposure. And there's also another feature that comes with the iPhone where once you lock it, you have the option to change the exposure. Usually the iPhone gets it pretty well. But if you want to go for a certain look, say you want it a little darker, you can slide it down or slide it up and change the way that it's gonna look. And this can be helpful, like I said, when you're trying to get certain looks. But for the most part, the iPhone gets it right. And my last tip is to get a gimbal for your phone. Now, the iPhone has pretty good stabilization, but it's so small and the way you hold it is so awkward that when you're shooting, and especially when you're moving, it's usually really shaky. So if you want to take your quality up a whole lot, you want to get a gimbal. Now, they're not that expensive, especially not compared to real camera gimbals, which can go up to thousands of dollars. These are not that expensive, and one of my favorites is the DJI Osmo 3 or the Osmo 4. And these are great gimbals. They'll help you to get some great shots when you're on the go. And I can pull it out whenever I need to take a quick little cinematic shot, and it's been so useful to me. So if you're ready to take your iPhone videos to the next level, I really recommend that you get a small gimbal for it. Make sure to like and subscribe. Thank you guys for watching so much. I hope you guys were able to get a few things on shooting with your iPhone. The iPhone is really just such an amazing tool. Like, they've gotten so good, the cameras are so good, and not just iPhone. This really applies to a lot of different cameras. Samsung and all of the cameras, they all make really decent cameras now on the level of DSLRs at this point. So never be afraid to just shoot with what you have, and you can get some really good quality with what's right in your pocket. And a good rule is use the best camera that's available to you. And usually when you're on the go, that's your phone. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.